Good evening. Tonight we do an interview with the following applicants who would like to work in this newspaper. So let's get started. Hello. What is the most difficult part of the investigation?
The hardest of part of research is getting real resource, getting interviews and testimonials, confirm that we need statements are true, and in some cases, gain the trust of witnesses when they are shocking or sensitive news.
What kind of news do you like to research?
I really like injustice. I like to be with people in investigate case of a corruption in municipalities or human cases. I like to be able to help people by sharing their feelings, to be that voice that sometimes they keep quiet.
What are your main source?
There is always the police, the courts, the firefighters, the official websites of the institutions. But I look the protagonists of the news. It is necessary for me to take statements for a good investigation.
In your professional career, what is the news that has impacted you the most?
The news that impact me the most is about famous murders. It is terrible.
In what historical event would you have liked to be present to investigate?
How many? Think that the Second World War, it was chaos, but just to be there and collect the experiences, but not to stay at time.
What is your research process?
I start from the indications of the news. I look for the protagonists and I go to the locations. The little by little, I like my wave of data and come to a possible conclusions.
Do you have a work team that accompanies you?
Yes, a photographer and another research like me who are starting and both are very curious and beloved about how they are passionate about their work.
Would you like to continue working locally, or in which other country would you like to experience?
And to experience more, it will be go to the Asian continent.
What are the qualities of the good researchers?
It will be curiosity and persistence. You have to have a good journalist now.
What advice would you have to someone who wants to work for you like you?
um, you must first like this job out. Tell him that it is a sacrificial job because you don't really have a schedule and you expose yourself to many things, but if you are passionate about it, do it.
Well, Gracia, thank you very much for taking the time to speak with me, and we'll be contacting you soon.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye. Hello. What has been your most successful experiences in speech making?
Well, I have grown to be a successful presenter. My most successful presentation took place at my college when I was responsible for presenting a leadership development program for a class of assistants, and it went pretty well.
Tell me about a time when you successfully handled a situation.
Well, I remember once when I was new in a job, it was my first job actually, and something went wrong with the documents and dates. So, as you may know, it was a mess. So, I had to do all over again. And I think those are the situations that make us more responsible and organized.
What achievements have you gained working as an Spartan's newspaper circulation clerk?
I have gained confidence and also, like I mentioned before, I'm more responsible, organized, and disciplined. I think I always learn something new from every job I have worked in.
What do you think you are eligible for the position of newspaper circulation clerk?
I have the skills to be the perfect option for this job. I assist in the preparation of periodicals, advertisements, catalogs, directories, and other material and publication also. I was in charge of verify facts and conduct research.
Do you believe that you are over certified for the position of this newspaper circulation clerk?
Yes, I have the job titles also as editorial assistant, correspondence clerk, proofreader, translation clerk, and many of them.
Tell me about how you work effectively under pressure.
Uh, well, I can cope the tension and the pressure of how these jobs could be because, as you may know, this job is really stressful sometimes. But I believe that when you just face it with the best attitude and you get the best of it.
What were your responsibilities of your last position?
Well, I was a proofreader and I had to read material prior to publication to detect and mark for correction any grammatical or compositional mistakes within tight deadlines.
If you were hiring a person for this job, what were you look for?
Well, first of all, to prove me that I can do everything you put me through with success, not just for me, but for your company.
What are you expecting from this firm in the future?
Well, to be recognized for the excellent job I can do here and eventually to move up a position. That's something that I will look for in this company.
Well, Daniela, thank you very much for taking the time to speak with me, and will be contacting you soon. Hello, what is the desync and what does it include?
Hi, Piero. Graphic design is the profession that aims to create and transmit a message through the image.
How did your test for desync begin?
Oh, since I was little, I always liked to draw and improve it in a graphic design institute.
Where is graphic desync used?
I can have more skills for editorial design, advertising design, illustration, web design, etc. etc.
What types of programs do you use for your project?
There are dozens of programs that are used daily by designers, and your own selection of favorites should be accompanied by arguments about why they are your favorites.
What are your strengths to design?
The most important thing I have learned about these questions is not to just list adjectives. Team player, motivated, thinker beyond the established.
How to be a good graphic designer?
Ability to innovate. Innovation is one of the main keys to success in any design modality.
How do you do when a client speak of you by telling you that don't like your design?
The first is that you are able to accept criticisms. Second, you want to show confidence in yourself. If you are prepared to defend your ideas to a rational extent and you do so justifies their validity.
What creative method do you follow in your work?
The creative process of a graphic designer is a fundamental part of their daily work and in most cases varies from designer to designer.
How do you deal with negative circumstance?
The first aspect that you should highlight when faced with difficult situations with a client is the ability to listen to them.
Well, Natalie, thank you very much for taking the time to speak with me and will be contacting you soon.
Oh, thank you.
Hello,
Hello. Hello, Piero.
do you think you have the skill to work with use?
Yes, I have the skill to work with you. With my experience and skill, we will work correctly.
How long did you work on your last job?
I worked for 3 years. I retired for healthy uses.
When was your first job?
Okay. My first job was 3 years ago. I worked in the newspaper Peri 21.
Do you work under pressure?
I properly handled a job under pressure. That's very day. For me, it's not new to work under pressure.
How many diaries have you worked on?
Okay, I have worked in total with two newspapers, the newspaper Peri 21 and Andina.
Do you think you have the qualities we're looking for?
Yes, I think I have the necessary quality for this job. I am responsible, punctual, and very fast.
Do you have a time to travel?
Yes, I can travel at any time. I don't have problem with that.
What are your future projections in the company?
Okay. For example, it's learning for you. You're learning for me.
Do you work as a team or do you perfect to do it individually?
I can work both way. I think any of them, it's excellent for me.
How did you contact us?
Those friends who work there, here.
Well, lady, thank you very much for taking the time to speak with me and we'll be contacting you soon.
Okay,
Thanks.
thank you. Goodbye.
Hello.
Hi,
Good night, Mr. Dorcas. So, why asked you interest in the journalist program?
I'm interested in the position of columnist.
Have any experiences in journalism?
I have experience in a digital magazine called National TV.
And you enjoyed that?
Yes, I like writing and that's what I do most and along with some design.
How do you?
Sometimes I have doubt about the wording I tend to give in evaluation and judgment when I shouldn't, but overall I do well.
Did you have a recommendation certificate for such work?
No, not really. I applied as a practitioner. I just did some volunteering work in the audiovisual.
Our program allows you to choose your one you bit.
Yes, I find the way of working convenient.
Tell me, what the achievement you are most proud of is?
Mm, at the moment, my greatest achievement is being able to continue studying and working even when having a small baby.
What was your biggest failure?
When I had to lie in my college courses because of a relationship of violence.
What is your abilities?
I have immediate ability.
How do you handle the pressure?
I'm very practical. I try to get things done quickly and well.
Well, Dorca, thank you very much for taking
Okay,
the time to speak from me and will be contacting you soon.